Oh, we're on. Go ahead, open it up.
Philly Uncensored Sports Podcast. The Four Horsemen is in the building. I know RJ Lucas, he said we late. Yeah, that was Wayne and Tim fault. You know, I'm here early all the time, so but that's neither here nor there. We in the building after a sensational Eagles win came down to the wire. It was, I mean, it got a little scary toward the end. I was never in doubt. Ethan was in full blown panic mode, but I was never really in doubt. I figured we was going at least take enough time off the clock to either make it hard for Detroit to come down and score, which ended up happening. But let's talk about the game, though. I mean, we won. Um, it was uh, it was kind of what I expected a little bit, even from an offensive and defensive standpoint, because we didn't get a lot of snaps in the preseason. You don't get as much time to really go hard in the pads in the preseason and in practice throughout the whole preseason and was it the mini camp and all that kind of stuff like that. So it was kind of to be expected. But one thing I did not like, man, Ethan talked about this. I know Wayne is critical of Jalen's arm and that, but I'm more critical of Jalen hanging and navigating the pocket, hanging in the pocket and making some of them throws. Some of the times he ran, it was unnecessary. He could have easily kind of just waited just a second, made a throw. AJ Brown had what 9, 10 catches. He probably should have had 12 to 13. But I mean, I'm not trying to be overly critical. We got the win, but this is something that I want to see in the maturation process with him that I didn't see this game. Now, I'm not saying he's not going to be able to take the step throughout the season. You're going game by game. This game, I didn't see it, but I am happy we got the
win. AJ, that bull. You're right, Sergeant Bass. AJ is that bull.
Sergeant Bass is actually BULL bull.
Devontae Smith, bull. Good. We got to get him involved in the game, but right. We ain't have a wide receiver like AJ Brown since probably Terrell Owens, man. He could do everything. He could do it all. And he goes get that ball. Even when he caught that ball in the end, he didn't want to go down. My thing with the Eagles is this. I'm not a fan of this offense. It seems a little gimmicky because when it's time to run your 4-minute, 3-minute offense, it was tough. It was tough. We couldn't get nothing going. I don't like the handoff out the shotgun. I like going. You see how they went under center trying to get yards because you can get your running back a full head of steam. Even on the 3rd and 1 with Boston Scott, he got stopped. Go under center. Put him 7 yards back. Let him get up. Let him get up some speed so he can hit that line, man, and try to move it a little bit. The offense to me, shotgun every play. I was never a fan of that. I think you could do a little more going under center. You can move the pocket. You can get Jalen moved out, but. We did good. Like Ephraim said, after nobody playing the preseason, I expected this. I expected us to come out and look like this, but I want to see more running the football. To me, they was too throw happy. They was too pass happy. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I kind of want to go back to something that Ethan been saying really since Jalen been in there. It seems like they're trying to. And it goes back to what Ethan's saying about the gimmicky offense. I think they're trying to coach around what Hurts can do. And I'm not saying Hurts played. I thought he played solid. He played okay. He looked like Hurts from last year. I didn't see any improvement in it. But again, I think we all been saying about it wasn't a whole lot of. That's why I was so adamant about I didn't like in the preseason. He played what, 1 series? That's trash. Like he needed to be in there 2 series. He needed to be in there and playing. I want to see that growth, and I haven't seen that growth from him yet. I mean, he's not trash or anything, but I don't see that growth. Whereas though he's this, we got weapons. We got a beast offensive line that can move bodies around. We got a few good running backs. You know what I'm saying, and we got quality receivers. And I don't like, and I don't want to use the preseason as them not getting reps because this is my thing. Yeah, we were slow starting off, but that second quarter, they turned on. They turned up. When they started getting the ball out of Hurts' hands and started running the ball a little more, we started turning up points. Then at another point, then we digressed and went back to trying to make him make passing plays and stuff, and that's just not our strength right now. So, I mean, Going forward, Detroit is Detroit. Who knows? Detroit might end up being a good team this year.
I think they are going to be a pretty good team.
I don't know. They dropped a lot. Detroit dropped a lot of passes.
No, they did, but I think they're going to be in a solid.
And
team.
I need to see a little bit more action out of these Eagles linebackers because that middle was getting chewed up. We supposed to have these great tackles stuff on the run. They was gashing us up the middle.
They was gashing.
All right, so I'm actually going to start on the other side of the ball because that's where I found the most disappointment at. I'm looking. We scored 38 points. The offense put up 30. Well, the defense did score that pick six, but we had 38 points on the board. There's no reason why we let Detroit score 35 points and Jalen didn't even turn the ball over. I'm putting some. Gannon got to eat some of this. He got to. It's not. First of all, we won a game. We was on the road, so keep in mind it's the first game of the season. We was on the road and we won the game. So this is not going to be a negative fest. But what I will say is, I don't like. I was watching Detroit blitz the crap out of Jalen all day long, and I kind of wanted them to be a little patient and stepping up, but he didn't. He ran off. So to some of your points, a little bit more patience. But we wasn't blitzing Golf, and Golf stinks. Golf had like 55 points in the first 55 yards in the first half. He's not that good. I mean, you talking about the number one pick in the draft, like I think when Wentz came out.
I'm not going to say he's blitz him,
but we didn't blitz him. We should have blitzed him, and
we actually did blitz him. You know why we didn't blitz him?
He was getting gashed when we blitzed him.
No, when we blitzed him, he hung in the pocket, and he made the throws though. But this is my point. See, this is my point about and Mark or Joy. Somebody was saying something about how you gonna hang in the pocket when the pocket's collapsing. The good quarterbacks and great quarterbacks hang in the pocket and make the throw. Either you step up, you navigate the pocket. Remember that time we blitzed on that third? It was like a 3rd and 5 against Detroit when they got their last touchdown to bring it within 3. Golf hung in that pocket. I mean, dude was coming down. It was a corner blitz or a line. Somebody blitzed on the side.
It was Maddox.
Oh yes, the corner blitz, and he hung in there and he threw it with Maddox all over him. That's the play that you have to make. I saw a couple times that Hurts could have done that. Even he ran even a couple plays where he wasn't getting blitzed. And the line, it was early on. I showed you on the polo. We went to the polo, and I broke down that whole scenario. The dude from the end was coming in, and he was coming kind of across his face. And all Ertz had to do was step to the right, and he would allow his tackle to continue to block. But he panicked and ran to the left and ended up throwing an incomplete pass. And I'm like, yo, just all you got to do is just learn how to navigate the pocket. That was my problem a little bit with Wentz too, though. Wentz did not know how to navigate the pocket when he was here 2 years ago, and I was irritated by that. I'm seeing some of the same stuff with Hurts, but Hurts just has the athletic ability to get out the pocket and make some great plays, which I'm not mad at. But when you start getting deeper in the season and playing against some of them better defensive teams, you're going to have to be able to hang in there and make that throw.
I will say this.
Yeah.
It's not easy to win in the NFL.
I agree.
I'm glad we pulled that one off. Hurts did make some good throws. That pass down the sideline to A.J. Brown.
He did.
Good
that
throw.
Was great throw.
And the one when he was scrambling and fired it back over the middle to AJ. That was he made some solid passes.
I can't say nothing about AJ Brown, man. But my problem is Wentz carrying the ball 17 times. I keep saying, why do we do this to our quarterback? Hurts.
Wentz is gone.
And that's the point. And that's the point. He showing what he was. That's what I'm saying. They got pass happy, but he ran a lot out of passing. They were in pass plays, and he broke the pocket and ran. That's why I'm saying they started getting pass happy. They went back to passing sets instead of just pounding the ball.
You're right, Wayne. Let me go back to because
go ahead.
I don't know if that was Jordan Mark that said they were running.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't start running to the second half. The first half was almost all pass. I think Miles Sanders might have had 2 or 3 carries the first half, which he should have had more. But you got to, I'm thinking with a big offensive line, pound the ball. You got a big O-line. You spent all this money on this O-line. You got one of the best O-lines in football. O-linemen like teeing off on people when you can run. Run the football, man.
We was up 24-14 at the half. We was up 24-14. We was looking pretty good at that point. It's just like, and
then we got the ball and we came down to score.
And we were, and then we couldn't score when they started making a run back. They started making a push back, and we couldn't score.
Well, keep in mind that third quarter. I think we only had like 2 minutes of actual clock. They just drained that third quarter. We didn't.
But they scored.
You heard what Mark said? You right, Mark.
What?
He said I didn't see the first half.
Oh.
Passing with his day. Yo, one more thing I want to say. I don't like our pass rush right now. Pass rush wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
I don't think they played
brought in
Jordan
some
Davis
pass rushers, and I didn't see anything.
Yeah,
I don't think they played Jordan Davis enough.
That 12:30 meeting going to hurt a lot of y'all, but but Saturdays is where I'm at.
Hey, Emil, you really think Hurts put the team on his back today? You think that's what that was today?
He was responsible. He had
Is that what y'all think?
He was responsible for 333 yards of the offense,
But
90 yards rushing, 243 yards passing. You gonna tell me he didn't put the team on the
No,
back?
he didn't. See, this is my point. And this is why I said this last year. Hurts is showing definitely signs of still being selfish. It was a third down play. We ended up scoring on the drive. I think on fourth down, it was 3rd and like 3 or 2 and goal. Hurts had the option to run, and he also, you can tell, had the option to pass because AJ broke open in the back of the end zone, was throwing his hands up, and Hurts. I mean, it was a wall of defenders, and Hurts still tries to run through them. So I'm either at the thought of this: either you can't multitask and do both, or you being selfish and trying to play hero ball. So it's either one or two for me because AJ Brown broke open and you were still running. All you had to do, all you had to do was just go like this, boom, and AJ Brown was wide open back in the end zone. So it's either a point where you're not capable right now of doing both and running and throwing, but I don't believe that. I believe you kind of want to get the accolades. You want to kind of play hero ball. And I think in the long run, if he keeps that up, it's going to end up hurting the team or hurting himself.
You can't, 17 carries for a quarterback is too many.
Way too many. He's going to get hurt. I'm telling you, he's going to get hurt.
But if he gets hurt, it's not going to be because he's physically gifted to get but the thing is that who was it that teed off?
So was Cam Newton. Cam Newton was physically gifted too.
No, I'm just saying, the boy that teed off on him got ejected from Detroit. He was hurting him so bad that was a like a revenge hit. They like, this boy is killing us, and they
yes, Emil's selfish. I've been saying that since last year, and he continues to show it. So we'll see.
I don't want him to be like.
I don't need him to be a pocket passer, but my thing is, we put weapons around him coming into the season. Tell me who didn't think that we upgraded our weapons? Our receiver
last year, Sergeant Bass.
Can your ligament bench 700?
It's not our receiver.
Can your ligament squat 700 pounds? That's all I'm saying. If you take the wrong shot in your knee, your back, and all that, I don't care how much you bench. I don't care. You're going to get hurt.
Last year?
Yes. And he's going, all right. I don't want to see the bull get hurt.
I'm not even mad. I'm not even mad at him if that's what he's doing because that's what he has to do. But to Ephraim's point that he made earlier, we have the weapons out there that are getting. It's almost like AJ Brown could get open at any point in time. Like he seems like he's getting open, and he did. He threw the ball. He targeted him like about 13. Who's this with the music? Old man,
we got theme music now.
I know we gonna mess around and get because we put music on that ain't ours. But no, but honestly, I'm not mad at how Hurts played. I just don't think that he shouldn't be he's not the focal point of our offense if we're going to win. We're not going to win it with Hurts going back there with the idea of Hurts putting the ball up and passing because he's not that kind of quarterback, in my opinion. But can he make plays? Absolutely. He made a couple nice plays like breaking out and buying time and making passes. I need to see him do more of that than just breaking out and running. Like it's like in other sports when you got other guys, like in basketball, you can have one guy can put up all the points he wants, but if you're not getting the other players involved and into it at a certain point in time, nobody else is in the flow of the game. And I think that he has to get
all
other
the
guys
things that you said. That's the only thing that I sort of agree with because Devontae Smith can't go without a game without getting any touches.
Exactly.
What happened today? That's what I said. That's the only. If I'm going to take something that Jalen can build from this is. You gotta maybe cut down on a couple of runs and make sure you gotta keep them happy. You gotta keep your receivers a little happy. Devontae Smith can't go into the game and I don't even know how many targets he had, but he had no catches.
He had 4 targets.
What's the notion that you have to run as soon as somebody blitzes?
Real quick, Ephraim, what did Peyton Manning and what do the great quarterbacks do when you blitz them? They pick you apart.
And that's what
you're blitzing from somewhere. My fault. Go ahead. You got
no, that's my point because when you blitzing, normally it leaves somebody in one-on-one is going to leave somebody wide open. A couple of times they look like they was blitzing 7 to 8 people, so somebody was wide open.
You did.
Somebody was wide open. You got to be able to read and make the throw. And I'm not mad I know he's still young, so some of the stuff he's going to hurry up and he's going to take off. He's going to panic a little bit. And that's cool. I'm not mad at that because he does have the athletic ability and he made some great plays. I'm not saying Jalen played like trash. He had a solid game, but I just thought it was areas where I think to me, he just still looks like the same Jalen. I want to see some improvement. And I agree with Wayne. I think some of that improvement could have been made in the preseason.
How about this? Do you think you don't think he improved about getting down and sliding and not taking?
Now that I agree, yes. Yes, I agree with that. He definitely learned and got to the ground, and hopefully
he did a better job of that.
I agree.
Now I will say this: we might be surprised, and the Lions just might be better than we think. Like Sergeant Bass says, just might be a better team than everybody came here thinking the Lions were going to stink. They came in. They came in with a great game plan. Deuce Staley had his running backs ready. Shout out to Deuce.
Yeah,
Swift, man.
I didn't know he was from Philly, but
me neither. He was balling.
He had some nice moves. The only problem I had with the Eagles, and I'll say it again, I don't think we have the running back that we need. We don't have the running back that can get tough yards. Miles is nice. He's a slasher. He's quick. But to go in there in 3rd and 1 and to hand the ball to running back to get, I don't think he's that running back's on this roster.
What about the boy
that he broke it out on the 3rd one though?
He did.
He did. 49ers?
I don't know.
Emo, you said the old line played horrible.
Yes.
He didn't get no reps today, did he, Tim?
Ooh, no, he didn't get in.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, we so deep at running backs. To me, it's gonna be hard. You got Boston Scott, you got Gainwell, Miles. Obviously, it's gonna be hard for anybody else to kind of get in there.
I mean, I trade and got the ball from Cleveland, man.
I would have liked. He had a good game today too.
What's the woman slapper?
The Kareem Hunt. I would have liked to see. I'd have liked to see him. I would like to see him in the Eagles uniform. But hey, Raj, who's your football team? We know your team is your basketball team is trash, Toronto. But who's your football team? I like
the Toronto Argonauts. Canadian football league.
Yeah,
we watch fake football.
Hey Raj, listen. If you keep playing around, we gonna have Sergeant Bass and them muting and kicking your comments off. But the defense,
wasn't the Eagles running backs averaging like 5 or 6 yards a carry? I
gotta pull the stats on that. But
I'm about to say because I know Miles at one point he was averaging like 5 yards a carry, and that was before he broke that big one out of the end. So that's what I'm saying. I think the O line did play when we played.
I thought the O line did play well. A lot of touches.
They was
I thought the O line played well. I thought the O line played well.
I don't think they was consistent enough.
But how much of that is your quarterback breaking the pocket and not just throwing a quarterback got to be able to beat the blitz with his arm. He does. He can't just run. His beat the blitz mentality can't always be just a run. Like Ephraim was saying earlier, when you blitz with the quarterbacks, and I'm not saying that Hurts got to be great because he is still a little young and he could still learn and get better. But when the quarterbacks, good quarterbacks love to see a blitz because they know that leaves somebody, especially when you got receivers. Now, you don't want to see the blitz if you ain't got no receivers. But if you got receivers, the quality that I think the Eagles do have, you welcome that blitz. You telling me that if somebody one-on-one with Goddard, you can't just put it up to Goddard? Or A.J. Brown one-on-one, you can't put it up?
But you know how quick Jalen, that blitz was coming very fast. And we wasn't getting to golf as quick as they was getting to Jalen.
No, we wasn't blitzing him.
No, we wasn't.
Like I said, I do think some of it is they was cautious, thinking he might read it. He's a veteran quarterback. He's not, by no means is he great, but he good enough to get that ball out there if you try to.
And he got a stronger arm.
Expose you, and he got a cannon. I do agree with Emo, though. I think at times they was letting them get away the couple extra hits on Jalen. But this is why I'm saying that they do this to running quarterbacks, especially if you got size. Jalen is like a baby, kind of babyish Cam Newton a little bit, where he's not as big, but he's not small neither. So they going to let some of them dudes tee off on him a little bit, and that's why, to me, you got to limit the amount of times you run if you can. He didn't – out of 17 runs, Jalen probably, honestly, you got to think, too. He ran more than 17 times because a couple times –
at least 10 at the most.
Yeah, a couple times he threw the ball away before he got to line of scrimmage when he was running. He kind of tossed it away. Remember, he got away with like one joint that could look like it could have been an illegal grounding or something like that.
Yeah.
But at least, like Ethan said, out of 17 of them, probably at least, I'll be generous to say at least 7 or 8 of them, you probably could have threw the ball. I know at least 5 guaranteed. but probably a couple more than that. You probably could have got the ball in your hands and not ran. That's just my thing. Let your playmakers, let them dudes do what they do. Brown is built for this. Goddard is built for this. Devontae, get him in the game.
It was another play that he did on a third down, and I got to go back and watch because I want to see if it happened earlier in the game too. But it was a third down, and they blitzed, and I think he was trying to go to, was it Smith? It might have been Devontae he was going to. It was like a quick pass outside, and he like patted the ball first and then threw it. Why are you patting the ball?
I think a lot of quarterbacks sometimes react.
But I'm saying that's something that you can't, especially in a blitz situation, you can't do that. Like you don't got the time to pat and then throw. Like you got to be whap and got get rid of it.
Yeah, that's you're right.
Now that might have been that one. That might have been that one instance. That might have been the one instance. I don't know. I want to go back
because he didn't pat.
I do think because
then he need to have man hands and hold the rock.
I do think
he don't fumble a lot, so I think he got good hands. My fault. Go ahead.
I do think a lot of things have changed from week 1 or 2, though. I think they'll go in here. They'll look at some things they did. Because remember last year when we had this almost the same exact problem with Jalen Hurts when he liked keeping the ball with the read option. For some reason with the RPO, he doesn't like handing the ball off.
That's the hero ball.
I don't know what it is, but I think things have changed.
He liked it. He just trusts himself better.
You got to remember, we started winning. We turned into a running team. Yes, we have AJ Brown. Yes, we throw the ball a little more, but I think we still have this. We have the big old line, so we're built to run the football, and I think that's our bread and butter in the NFL.
Emil, you got to get out of your feelings with Hurts. First of all, I came on here. I actually said I thought Hurts had an okay game, and other people actually thought he played worse than because he had
Tim, what you doing?
What he had an 80 quarterback rating. I thought he played okay, but I didn't think that I didn't think it was great quarterback play.
80.6. That's just okay. That's an okay.
I didn't think that he played great quarterback today. Now that being said,
what's wins rating today? Tim, what the wins rating today? Did he play bad?
That being said, I do think that there's a lot of things that they need to work on, and this is my whole point that Jalen Hurts should have got more reps in the preseason, and I put that on the coach. And he should have got more reps in the preseason. Don't come into this season telling me, oh, Jalen Hurts, I saw him in 7-on-7s, and he was picking the defense apart, and then people like Tim coming in talking about Jalen Hurts going to throw for 40 touchdowns this year. Oh yeah, come on with all that.
He's going to be responsible for 40 touchdowns this year.
Well, yeah, one today.
But look. I do want to give a little shout out to the players that we picked up on defense. They had some big plays like James Braybear.
Yeah, he had a solid game.
That was a combo pick though. That white actually got a hand on that.
That tip and then after the pick, then he became a great block. He blocked, which made the touchdown.
Hold on, let me ask you something. Did y'all notice when they threw in the backup string on the D line that they actually did a little better than the starters in that fourth quarter?
Cots were struggling.
I mean, they was fresh like that. I mean, that's what you got to keep that rotation in for.
It was the first game of the season.
We still not getting pressure.
I agree.
Yeah, did we have any sacks?
I seen the one from Cox when he fumbled the ball, but I think
we had like 2 sacks. I gotta check the stats on that.
Yeah, last year we was either dead last or 29th out of 30 teams.
But see, and I think a lot of that comes out with the defensive philosophy.
We had 1 sack tonight.
We play a lot of sets. We play a lot of sets like nickel and dime sets. Even in
Cox and Brandon Graham got half a sack.
I agree. I don't guess I agree with the defensive philosophy. This NFL started to get away from linebackers. Like they act like linebackers aren't important. Like you still when it comes to stopping the run, you need a beast in that middle that's going to hit somebody.
I don't agree. We actually signed a linebacker and drafted one.
What do you do today?
Yeah, Gannon been on the bubble with me for a minute though. Since last year,
he off the bubble. He got to go, man.
Yeah, he. I mean, he might have to because you
got to make plays. We's missing a lot of tackles. He's missing a lot of tackles today too.
I mean, but this is why I'm not ready to. To me, he on the bubble because this is week 1. You could not hit all preseason. You couldn't really hit all mini camp, nothing like that.
You can hit preseason. You just can't hit
we ain't play the players. I mean that we ain't really play that many starters to get into the rhythm of hitting. Hitting is a rhythm thing. You got to condition your mind and your body to go in there and start pounding and hitting and all that. So we'll see. Week 2 and 3 will be the true definition of what this defense really is. So
we can say that about us pounding the ball on the Lions too. Like how much of that was because the Lions ain't.
And that's why I'm viewing the same thing with Hurts. Like I want to see if he could settle in and hang in that pocket just to make some of them throws, it will make everybody's job a lot easier, including his own.
Like even when he runs,
than we was Lions more ready to play than we were?
I think they came out hype.
They was home. They was
home and they was hype. Yeah,
they came out hype.
That's one of the things that Hurts doesn't do. Like, all right, like McNabb used to not run enough sometimes. Like he should be trying too much to be a pocket passer. I think Hurts, it needs to be a balance between what he and Hurts does. But one of the things McNabb did do that I think Hurts needs to learn how to do is use that speed to move around, like Ephraim was saying, move around in the pocket or just find different placements and then pass the ball. McNabb used to do. Remember that when he hit Freddie Mitchell for the deep bomb? This McNabb running around using his speed to lead the rush. But I need to see Hurts do more of that.
I agree. Sometimes I think Hurts he could run. To me, when he starts to run, he's running. He don't run.
McNabb did have a cannon pass
and then look to pass. I want to see you run and look to pass. Get your eyes downfield.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I want to see that, but we'll see.
Yeah, that was
sometimes people are what they are. I mean, we want more out of them.
It's also good to have a head coach that give you that leadership that you need. You're the leader on the field, but off the field, maybe the coach. You need a coach to be like, listen, look, keep your head up, look down the field, make sure you get it. I don't think he's getting that from the offensive coordinator or Sirianni.
Yeah, he did that. I mean, he did that one play with AJ.
That's what I'm saying. You said one play.
It was several. It was, trust me, it was a lot of plays. Don't act like you ain't said. It was several plays where he actually could have did that. It was one early on the Goddard. It was like two actually to AJ that he ran and didn't throw. It was one specific, actually two to Goddard that he could have did to Goddard. And I remember the one in the back of the end zone. I wasn't thinking about this the last time when I just said it, but the one in the back of the end zone to AJ Brown too, where he could have hit him for a touchdown. But this is stuff that, I mean, hopefully through practice, game film, game experience, they're going to go back, break it down. Look, you had this, look to do this. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I'm sure they're putting a bug in his ear to do that. Now, whether he'll be able to, like Ethan said, some people just ends up being, this is who you are. And I don't think he hit a ceiling. I don't want to say he hit a ceiling, but sometimes that stuff, some of that stuff is just gifts. Like when you could run and be able to kind of look and throw the balls, you running like Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers. Sometimes that's just gifts, man. He might not possess those gifts. His best gift might be just getting out of Dodge and living to play the next play,
or just developing as a quarterback.
Sergeant Bass, I gotta see what Dallas look like. Washington, I think Washington will be in the mix. I gotta see what Dallas look like tonight before I answer that question.
My thing about the Eagles and the
my heart want to tell me yes that we gonna win, but I gotta see what these other teams look like.
I look at how we got thrashed on the run by them, and then I look at the runners that we got to face in this division.
That scares you a little bit.
A little bit. It gives me a little trepidation. I thought the defensive line was going to be better than this. We supposed to have all these beasts up in the middle that's going to be stuffing that out. We got gashed up the middle a lot today.
Because I don't think they played Jordan Davis like they supposed to. I'm looking at it now. He had 2 tackles. One solo.
He actually, they put him in on the third and one on the goal line, and he blew that middle up. I don't know if you.
That's what I'm saying. He needs to play. He needs to play
too. But you got to remember they paying Cox and they just paid.
I don't care who you playing. You pay who's the best player in the game.
I said that, Herbert. No pressure. Our D line is looking bad. The D line looking bad.
Mr. Wayne to hate on Jalen. He just stated the obvious. A couple people in the comment section is a little mad and maybe caping up a little harder than I think they should. Sometimes you gotta be real what a player is, like and hopefully you can see them grow. But I do agree with the D line. We do got to address the defense a little bit. The corners played very well. Even that touchdown play. I was talking to somebody in the text and they was like, "Oh, Slade got cooked on that touch. He getting roasted." That
was a great play.
That was a great play. He was all over the dude. Like, this is what you want. If your quarterback is trailing 3 steps behind, then you can say, okay, he got roasted. He was literally step for step. I mean, right beside him. The ball, which is a great throw and catch. The ball landed right in the breadbasket where you want it to be. I mean, he swung at. He kind of just missed it. Went like right past his arm.
It looked like the bull gave a little shove at them, but they was kind of pushing that. But at the very right time, he gave that little extra shove. it gave him that little bit of separation. I ain't mad at it though.
I ain't mad. It was a great play. I think our corners played all together well. Bradbury, Maddox played good. I always liked Maddox. Y'all do that. I always thought he was the best corner on our team last year. But Slade, he did his thing. Even that pass interference, I thought that they got to get their last touchdown was suspect. That was sus. That if we'd have lost that game based off of that, I would have been a little bit more irritated by that play. But that play was suspect.
First of all, Mr. Wing, we already know we got some people in here that's going to hype everything Hurts does, including Emil and Tim. But what I said was on the one play, Hurts patted the ball, and I think that enabled the defense to get out there to bat it down. I said I need to go back and look and see if he did it more times than that. I didn't say he's patting the ball every time. God dang, sometimes it's like arguing with a chick. You know what I'm saying? Like you say one thing and then they go, you always say. I'm just saying what he did on one play, bro. That's all.
That's what we paid to do. That's what we paid to do. But the $1.99 we get every show, we're paid to analyze the plays.
Speaking of $1.99 today, where's the $1.99?
Right. Listen, I agree. The defense let us down. The defense did let us down. But when you have a 17-point lead, even if the defense falter, our offense still should be able to at least we shouldn't go 14 points without scoring if we was as dominant as we was in that second quarter when we was running the ball down their throat. That's all I'm saying is, and I agree, the defense played horrible. The defense made a couple plays, but when it came down to it and Detroit got on the roll, Detroit was gashing our defense. They had them on the field forever. And I'm just saying, the same way I would say with the defense got to pick the offense up if the offense struggling. At that point, when the defense was struggling, the offense should have came out, and they did at the very end. They pounded the ball down there, but they should have jumped out and did that a little bit earlier than me. This game shouldn't have been close. The Eagles should have stomped on them once they had them down 17. They could have just ran the ball down their throats and ended the game.
I mean, but like you said, both teams get paid a paycheck. I think Detroit's going to be a solid team. It's going to be that's easier said than done. I think. You're going to go in there. Just like Detroit came out and ran the ball on our throat, and I think they thought that was going to be a pattern throughout the game, and it wasn't. Our defense was, and our offense kind of did the same thing. They had spurts where they played really well, and then they had spurts where they played not so well. Same thing with the offense. It wasn't one of them games where everything aligned perfectly, and the defense played great, offense played great, and we got the 44-6 win like we did last year. But it was one of them games where, first game of the season. Wait.
Can I address that real quick? Who said that? Don't look at the stats. Just Hurts just wins. You do know Hurts' career record is 12-17. So, I mean, don't just tell me he just wins. Don't look at his stats. He just wins. That's not a winning record.
That's what they used to say that about Tebow a lot. Like, don't look at the stats.
I think Tebow had a winning record though.
Yeah, he did. Tebow wasn't. He was a motivating dude. He wasn't really good at quarterback. He's kind of garbage. But he actually was a hype dude. I think he did enough to get you hype. And I think Jalen Hurts could be a little bit of that hype guy too. I just think he needs to. I just think he's a little bit selfish. I think he has to put in his mind these other players train hard, they play hard just as well as me, and they also need to touch the ball to keep their psyche in the game. Devontae Smith seems to be the type of dude to me. Don't let him go 2 games out getting a rock. Even if you gonna start saying some tweets. Even if we win, do not let him go 2 games out getting the ball. I remember watching his body language a lot last year, and a couple times. Yeah, he used to get mad at Hurts when Hurts would play hero ball and wouldn't throw him the ball, and he'd be.
I disagree with the hero ball comment, but I do think Hurts he gotta actually look for him and try almost force it to him. Make it seem like you really want to get it to him. Because like him and AJ, he had no problem with AJ. AJ Brown had a career high at the half, and he tied his career high for the game. So say what you want about Jalen, but AJ feeling good right now. He ain't scored no touchdowns.
So he had a career high at the half and didn't get no better than that?
Yeah, he had 10. He had career high at the end of the game. Let me ask you this. He had 10 catches, I think. Let me ask you this. Can Devontae, is he cool? Y'all think his personality, he's cool with being number 2?
Yeah.
He ain't gonna have no choice.
He ain't got no choice.
He got a choice. I'm talking about he got a choice when his contract up. He can go somewhere else if he don't still want.
Go ahead then. I think he's.
Will he AJ Brown for being number 2?
AJ Brown is the unreplaceable receiver on this. You
gotta remember, he ain't been number 2 his whole career. Alabama, he was killing them, so he was always number 1 through his life. So will he be able to?
I mean, how long was the Alabama career? Like a year and a half or something? I mean, I hear you.
Was that with Tua or with Hurts?
But at the end of the day, at a certain point, you got to realize who's who. Y'all see the plate. Somebody put I think when the offensive line, they said put a like license plate on AJ Brown's locker, and it said always open. Everybody else realizes he's always open. They say Yo, he gets open every play. I'm watching every instant replay, even the plays where Hurts didn't get it to him. He was open. His moves is incredible. His footwork is incredible off the ball. I mean, coming off out his breaks. So at the end of the day, you got to realize this dude is what he is. Now, I don't know how much it did look like Devontae Smith was locked up a little bit on some plays, but I didn't see every play. I don't know. I think he's talented enough to get open. You know, not just as good as AJ Brown, but just to get open and get in the rock. So you got to help him. You got to sometimes you got to, as they say, you got to throw dudes open too. You got to know.
And the coach has to design some plays to get him open. Too. If that's somebody, that's a job for the coach. And listen, I'll tell y'all, I don't think that Hurts had bad stats this game. I don't, even with his 80% quarterback rating, I don't think that he had a bad statistical game. I just don't think that he had a great game. I wouldn't say he put him on a back and he did this. I wouldn't say all that. It's kind of like Russell Westbrook. You know, Russell Westbrook put up all these great stats and numbers, and it's like the people that love Russell Westbrook will be like, Russell Westbrook was balling.
All right, Wayne, can we win with Hurts playing like this? Can we win? We won tonight.
We won tonight.
No, only way you win with a quarterback playing like this is if your defense is a lockdown defense, and we definitely don't have a lockdown defense.
But Hurts can't move the chains.
I think we can get a lockdown defense. I just think it's
he'll move the chains. He'll put points on the board. He just won't be great statistically, but he can still move the ball. He can still move the ball up and down the field.
No, I think it's going. Listen, it's going to be
in spurts, because when they switched up and played a different type of defense, we wasn't moving the ball like that.
In my opinion, I think that this boy John DeGannon is kind of remind me of the boy Emmett Thomas that we used to have. We need like he got all these great players, but don't know what to do with it.
We'll see. That's why I said we'll see.
Got in there. You saw how that whole defense changed.
I mean, we'll see.
Hold on. Hurts didn't throw. Hurts threw two. Hold on. Let me just clear something up. Hurts threw two bad passes to Devontae Smith. One, I don't know what happened when they called the pass interference when Devontae kept trying to get back. And the other one, I think maybe him and Devontae wasn't on the same page when Devontae never got his head around.
It was for him to come back and a defensive back. The cornerback didn't let him get it. That's why it was a pass interference. The only reason why I didn't go through is because I think Lane Johnson was running.
Ethan, don't let him talk you into it. My fault too. They talk Ethan into getting his ball again.
Hold up, we moved the ball all game. So when we was up 17 points and it ended up being a 3-point game, we were moving the ball during that time.
You're not going to move. You got to understand this football. You're not.
No, I get that, but I'm saying don't sit here and tell me like
you put 31. Like you put 38 points on the board.
No, I agree. And 24 was in the second. 31 and 24 and 24 was in the second quarter when we was pounding the ball and just pounding the ball down their throat. And Hurts was a part of that. Hurts was a part of that with the running. And Hurts was a part of that with the running. But
so you mean to tell me if this offense can give you 31 points a game?
I don't think that they're going to give you 31 points a game. This is Detroit.
Win what?
Win the Super Bowl.
Win the division? I think they
can win. Listen,
punted the ball twice.
Listen, we could win games, but it's going to be like. Remember, I told y'all about Baltimore two years ago. I said Baltimore, all this stuff that Lamar Jackson doing. I said he has to be a better quarterback to win the playoffs.
Exactly.
They went into the playoffs with 14-2. They were blowing teams out the water. Everybody, including email, Lamar Jackson is. I said, listen, I said, okay, wait till you get in the playoffs and watch what happened. They went to the playoffs and got bounced by Tennessee. But this is the stuff this is what happens when you don't know how.
Let me finish your point that you're making.
Okay.
Only difference is they didn't have an AJ Brown on that team, and they didn't have a Dallas Goedert. And what you do
I agree with that.
When they teeing off on your young quarterback. Or teeing off of your mobile quarterback, you crowd that box, and then you allow AJ Brown to play whoever he wants to play.
But nobody's complaining about that when it was 14-2.
Nobody. But I'm just saying, if you want to win this way, you can win. Just make AJ and Goddard your primary focus and bring everybody else to the box.
I don't remember any quarterback in recent history winning a Super Bowl that didn't know how to hang in the pocket and make the throws in the blitz. I mean, you tell me. Unless, like I said, and the only team that everybody brings up is the Ravens of 2000, 2001, when they had the greatest defense of all time, and they was able to win. How many quarterbacks do you see really win that can't hang in there at times and make that throw? Especially when you playing against mastermind defensive coordinators with great defensive players. It's going to come down to a point in time in that game you're going to have to make that throw. So we could win regular season games. Yeah, we could do good. But if we don't know how to do that, we're not winning the playoffs. I'm telling you.
And that's my main point about Hurts. Like I said, I want him to, because we don't got no other quarterback in here, and I think that we have enough talent on this team to be a good team. I hope he do take them next steps. That's why I was mad that he didn't play in the preseason, because I thought that could have did a lot for his development. But that being said, don't come in here extra Joe on him like he carried us. He didn't have a great game. He didn't stink. And he played solid. He had a good game. He didn't have this great. Stop trying to make it like he had this great game. He didn't have a great game.
He had a solid game. But
he had a solid game. I agree. I'm not hating. So you saying the same thing I'm saying, but they saying I'm hating because I'm saying he had a solid game.
I'm not animated about your solid game. I'm more.
That's because they trying to say I'm hating because I'm not joeing him up like them. Like, come on, bro.
He had a solid game. My preference was for him to have thrown at least 2 to 3 touchdowns. I actually put a poll. Are y'all going? I said how many touchdowns he's going to throw today, and I didn't put 0. I put 1, 2, 3, 4 plus, but I didn't think he wasn't going to have any passing.
You always got. There's always a possibility of 0.
I know, but who knew?
Hey, Herb, we not hating. Every time somebody blitzes somebody, you do realize, for the most part, any blitz you're sending more than they can block. That's why it's a blitz, and quarterbacks know how to read it and know how to throw to the open man or know how to step up in the pocket and make the play. So I'm not saying he's not going to learn how to do that. But right now, it seems that he's struggling with that part of his game. He can run, he can get out. If he hangs in the pocket, he has time. He can make the throw and make a good throw. But when they start putting that pressure on him, especially when you start playing against better teams and going deeper into the season and or playoffs, you're gonna need to make that throw.
So we scored 38 points, and our quarterback had no passing touchdowns, but they're gonna tell me how great he played.
No, I said he had a pretty good game.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the ones that saying that we hating on Hurts.
Okay. He still was responsible but at the same time, he's responsible for 333 yards of offense.
Yes, they do. Golf just did it tonight. Golf did all the great top quarterbacks do it. Not even great quarterbacks. All the top quarterbacks get the ball off of pressure.
And by the way, Miles Sanders had 7.4 yards per carry.
All of them.
So maybe if we gave him the ball a little bit more, or he might have got hurt.
We did win the game, y'all, on the road.
Who knows? He might have got hurt. We did win. We win, but it shouldn't have been a struggle. And I blame the defense more than anything else. I agree. Too. The defense got gashed. When you got that kind of lead, you should be able to just come there and I blame the defense. I blame the defensive coordinator. But all that being said, I'm saying we got stuff to work on everywhere. I'm not looking at this and being hyped like, yeah, we on the road to the Super Bowl. No, they got stuff to work on, and this is why they should have been doing it in the preseason. And I blame Sirianni for that.
And you let him off the hook.
Great.
I ain't letting him off the hook. I'm gonna be saying that consistently this year. I don't care what anybody else in the league doing. He should have been playing them guys more. You had a whole lot of new names and faces coming in here. He should have had them in there getting that cohesiveness going.
No, they don't. I just mentioned the point when Golf got it off when they cornerback blitzed him. Nobody touched Maddox, not one person. And he hung in there and he threw it right over Maddox's head for the completion of 3rd down. All the good quarterbacks do it. Yes. Stop being naive because he can't do it. If he cannot do it, he can't do it. Right now, Jalen Hurts right now does not do that. He needs to do that to become a better quarterback. That's the bottom line. Anybody who keeps saying it is making themselves look foolish and making themselves look unknowledgeable because all the good quarterbacks do it. This is why they're so afraid. If you look at now you talk about the greats, this is why everybody's definitely afraid to blitz Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and Peyton Manning and Drew Brees, because they literally will dissect your defense and pick you apart. Now, the good quarterbacks can do it semi-consistently. The great quarterbacks do it pretty much all the time. That's why
most of them don't have the ability to do what Hurts do is to get out of danger. Like, you're forced to be able to beat the blitz when you don't have the ability mobily to beat the blitz.
So now, what?
But at the same time, Jalen does have to do that in order to ultimately win.
You must not have watched the game. But
you do know that that's what the quarterback primary job is, to throw the ball to the other guys.
Tim, I agree. Tim, I absolutely agree with you.
Even with Hurts, right? When like if you see him standing there, he feel like he there too long, he run out. if you protect it, don't move. Don't move. No reason to escape the pocket. You stand there as long as that front line lets you, and somebody going to eventually run open because you can't hang with nobody that long. A couple of times I've seen him run out too early too. Stay there.
Y'all don't think
it's going to be a test. It's going to be a test next week, next Sunday night.
You know what? Maybe he don't have though. Like when you talk about like the other quarterbacks, right? Like first of all, we already know about the arm. I ain't gonna go through all that again. But like when you talk about like a Donovan McNabb and even Mike Vick, those dudes had an elusiveness like in the pocket, whereas though you kind of,
He'll get away from.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, but I'm saying like some of them guys, and I ain't gonna say Vic because Vic used to take off and run. But like some of these quarterbacks who have some speed, like they could stay in the pocket longer because, like, remember how McNabb used to like shrug guys off sometimes? Like Bulls would come in here and like McNabb might shrug them and then go ahead and move around and make another pass or something like that. Or even Roethlisberger, he ain't even a scrambler, but he would like shrug guys off. I don't know if Hurts has that. So his default is to beat him with the speed, with the legs. But that being said, if you don't have that rocket arm like some of these other guys have, then you have to be able to recognize the stuff faster and get like a guy like Drew Brees didn't have a rocket arm. But if you sit up there and you throw that blitz at him, he can read that defense and know I got this guy going to be there, this guy going to be there. I'm going to throw it to that spot and he going to get it.
You don't think he trusts his arm to get it in?
I think what we're witnessing is when you got a bunch of kids running the entire program. Sometimes you need that veteran coach to guide you.
I agree.
And there's no veteran leadership that's been around the NFL for the last 15, 20 years and be like, listen, I'm telling you, you're doing good now, but to really win, we don't have that in no position, not the offensive coordinator, offensive coaches, head coach, nowhere on this organization is anybody or no head just like, listen, this is how you do it. I'm not thinking so now Jalen is learning on his own. He got to grow with the coach.
I mean, I could agree with a lot of that. I
agree with some of that too.
Mark, I said the same thing about him running and not looking downfield. It seems like once he commits to run, he runs. He rarely runs with the option of throwing, especially if he has a lane. Like once he got a lane, he taking off. He definitely ain't going to throw it, even if somebody does open up. But I would like to see him kind of add that to his game a little bit more. But I mean, like I said, so far, if we're going by game basis, so far he looks like Jalen the last year, and that's what I feared. Without the, as Wayne would mention, without the experience of the preseason games that I think he missed out on. But we'll see after the day. I'm sure they're going to go over game film and do all that talking with him, and hopefully he could tighten up a little bit with that stuff. So we'll see how much he's willing to learn and how fast he absorbs what he needs to absorb and help us get to the next level.
Well, Herb, I agree with doing what he has to do, but I don't think that he has to run. I think that's the point that me and Ephraim are both making. And again, I'm not, like I said, I want to see. I don't think that this is what Hurts is necessarily. I do think he can get better. That's why I was so irritated that they didn't play him more in the preseason. Because don't tell me like, oh well, he's good enough as he is. It's like Ben Simmons all over again. Like, well, he don't got to work on this. How he is good enough, and sometimes that's not good enough.
It's funny. Emo and Herb, the same boys who was in love with Ben Simmons too. And I told y'all about Ben. And Ben came back to
NBA real quick. I think we're done with the Eagles game one.
No, we ain't told y'all about Ben. We're going around the NFL.
Yeah, we gotta go around the league a little bit for what.
All right, what y'all got?
Any games y'all saw in particular? I didn't see any games.
That being said, I'm happy we want to know.
Yes, I agree.
I'm happy we want to know.
Actually, it was some crazy games.
My bad, Sergeant Bass. But I just have to remind people who they attached their wagons to and how it fell apart and how me and Ethan was right about that before. But all of a sudden, I'm wrong again now. I told y'all.
Ben in the lab cooking.
Ben will be back this season. And will be all.
Listen, KD tried to run from the team because he ain't want to be stuck with Ben Simmons, and the owner said no. And he signed his contract.
You know what I heard was the same boys. He tried to argue me out about the boy. I said he was trash, and they ain't want to believe it. But the truth shall come to light sooner or later.
AJ made a great catch
on that
duck Hurts throw when he had to turn around and catch it. Remember that?
But see, I wasn't even gonna say that because it was a completion. This is my problem when people get
it wasn't, and that's just
because this is my problem when people get caught up in the stats. See the stats, he did that, and that's why I'm not even necessarily bringing up the stats. He did a great job running, and he had an efficient passing game. He had no interceptions, but he had no touchdowns. So, and we won. But my whole thing is sometimes you got to dissect certain stuff, whereas though he has to do this better, or they have to do, or the coach has to do this better. Sometimes you get a win, and it's like we won, but we against better competition. That's not going to play out. And sometimes you have to be real with that. You got to be real and look at your team, no matter what sport. You got to look at it like we might have got the win, and we put up some, but certain stuff is not going to fly against better competition. And if your goal is to win a championship, you have to shore up them certain things.
I agree. That's what I told you about Lamar 2 years ago when everybody was on the Lamar train. I said Lamar got to tighten up that passing. It's going to fall apart in the playoffs. Sure enough.
That's why they didn't pay Lamar either. So we'll
he actually had a good game today, but he said if he's not, I think he said during the season he's not negotiating his contract. So he's pretty much saying if I ball out this year, I'm going.
So Lamar threw 3 touchdowns today.
Yeah, he's a good game.
What you saying? That being said,
that's what I'm saying. Lamar, he had to tighten that aspect of his game up. Now we'll see if he did this year. So far, he was like he was throwing from the pocket nice today. So
is Kyler Murray the real deal, or is he like what's up with Kyler Murray?
Did they win?
Remember, it was a lot of Kyler Murray hype before, and you know what I mean, like people was like he next up or whatever. But then he kind of got it. His ego kind of got a little big.
He's gonna have a very first 8 games of the season. He always plays well the first 8 games. The second 8, he falls off. So you're gonna see some great numbers the first half of the season.
That was kind of like Hurts in every game. He played great in the first half.
They get smacked around by KC.
No, I'm trolling. I'm trolling. I ain't even mean to do that because I'm about to get bored started.
My young boy Mark hit me. He said we gave away too many points. He's blaming the defense, and like we said,
I blame him too.
Yeah, they definitely did, but I don't blame him for the fact that it's game 1, and I already had the feeling this was going to happen because you can't hit that much.
I think a lot of the defense was. I think a lot of that was to the point that y'all been making. I think a lot of that was on Gannon. I think when we got the lead, he was like, "Well, we just gonna make sure if they got to march it down the field, they got to march it down the field." But when you play like that, you allow your defense to get wore down and tired. As a defensive player, you want to go out and attack. Like if you just sitting back, if you got that mindset as a defensive player, like just don't give it up, it's passive. And a defense needs to be aggressive. Defensive players by nature should be aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Like to go out, you got to be out and aggressive and go and attack them dudes. If you're on your heels, that's like when we talking about being on your heels. When you're on your heels, it's easy for you to get beat. And I think Gannon does that a lot. And I think because when we had this lead, I think Gannon ran a defense that was kind of like on our heels. Fall back. Just don't let them get the quick scores and we make them work for it. And that don't work for every defense. Unless you smack. Now, if you smack old football, you could get away with that a little bit because you can smack bulls up. Like let them get the underneath stuff and then light them up. This football league, you can't hit them bulls like that. So when they getting that stuff, that underneath stuff and everything else, they're not taking no punishment for getting that stuff. So it's easy for them to keep doing it. In the old football, you can play that bend but don't break, and it's like if you catch it in front of me, I'm gonna rack you up. So you're gonna feel it. You can't do that.
Still do that. Still rack balls
to an extent. You can't really do it like that.
But now what I will say in defense of Jalen though, even though I won this, what in the world you got going on? What I will say in defense of Jalen is that I do think even though, like I said, a lot of times he ran early, he could have passed the ball. Him being able to escape that blitz a couple times did make them second guess blitzing him in the second half as much as they did because he was able to get free. And at a certain point, once you keep getting free, somebody gonna look at somebody like, "Yo, why you keep doing the same thing?" And he keep getting out. So his ability to get away from it was huge. But
his ability to get away from it is the reason why he got drilled by the ball, and I think Jalen wasn't the same after he got drilled either. It seemed like all of a sudden
that's going to happen. That's the thing. They're going to do that.
Especially when you run the RPO.
We've seen this
when you run the RPO. Some bulls is going to light you up when you act like you should. And they might get a penalty or two, but they're going to start taking shots at it.
RG3. We seen this with Steve Young. We even seen this. They used to try to tee off on Winter a little bit because Winter big bull. You going to see they going when you start trying.
They did the Colin Kaepernick. Remember Green Bay when the bull? What was the bull? The bull Thor with Green Bay, and he was like when they started running that RPO, he was like, all right, he was like, I'm just going to hit him every time he come off that edge. That's just the way
bro. Yeah, you're right, Tim. I mean, Wayne. That's what I'm saying. This is why I'm to our and his benefit to get that ball out your hands and learn how to hang in that pocket a little bit more. And navigate the pocket, even when you ain't getting blitzed. Like I said a couple times, he broke out a little too early. You got to just learn how to read your offensive line, how he's blocking defenders, and be able to move around him. Which McCall does that. There's a couple quarterbacks who does that flawlessly, like Aaron Rodgers, Ben Roethlisberger used to do that. I mean, to a level that you just kind of just feel it. You don't even have to necessarily look. You could just feel how your line is blocking and move in regard to that. So hopefully, but some of that stuff is just gifts. Some of that stuff some quarterbacks never really learn how to do. Hopefully,
I think truth be told,
Wentz couldn't do it.
Most veteran quarterbacks, after they play a certain amount of years, they get good at it, and that's like you can't blitz them. There's not a lot of veteran quarterbacks that's still out there that's still playing in the league that don't learn how to just sit there and navigate the pocket.
AG was.
How many veteran quarterbacks still playing?
We not talking about he just got to stand in the pocket and just get lit up. Like, all right, for example, and now I know it's kind of unfair to say this because he is arguably the greatest quarterback to ever play. But if you look at Tom Brady, Tom Brady's not this great athletic quarterback. He's not fast and anything else. But if you see, he just takes a solid step here to the left, to the right. He does that to maneuver in that pocket and use his blocks around him to give him that extra time. But then again, Tom Brady's also taller, so he can see over these things and make the play. Jalen Hurts got a couple passes knocked down today. And then, you
gotta get some cleat heels. Do they got? Remember that Jones? You could put like a little thing you could put in the back of your shoe to give you a little lift. It was like the shoe lift, John. Maybe put a little shoe lift or some kind of cleat heel, like an extra long cleat in the back of his cleat to kind of give him a little extra
lifts.
Yeah,
like you walk around on his tippy toes.
I'm telling y'all, though, the real test gonna be next week. We got Dalvin Cook, running back, Justin Jefferson, wide receiver, and Jalen Reagor we going against. So
Jalen Reagor, that would be real irritating.
The defense better be in that daggone lab. They better be in that film room. They better be the defense better do what they got to do. Because this game shouldn't have been close.
I'm not scared of Cousins. I'm not. I'll never be scared.
You ain't got to be scared of Cousins. Did this game? Was you scared of Joff?
Golf,
Joff, whatever his name is. Was you scared of him?
Joe.
No.
Joe. Job. Were you scared of him? Were you scared of him? But he almost brought them back.
Yeah, you know that running game is the way really killed.
They got Dalvin Cook.
But that's what he's telling you. They have the same thing. They have weapons too.
I'm trying to.
They don't play Jordan Davis. I'm out. I'm like, you got to play that ball. Give him all the.
I'm kind of agree with Tim a little bit. I'm not, but you never know. Cousins ain't no bum though. Let's be clear. He ain't no scrub.
He was multiple times.
He ain't no scrub. But I will say this. I do think that I think we gave up on Reagor a little too early, in my opinion. I know I wasn't on the show to say that. I think we could have had Reagor in the slot. I think he could have worked nice in the slot. I actually think he's. I'm not sold on Quez. I know a lot of people like Quez speed and all that, but I'm not really overly sold on Quez. I think he could have been better than Quez in that slot. But
I don't think Quez fits with Hurts. I think Quez fits with a quarterback with a rocket arm, and it's like run out and I'll throw it to you. You run into the ball.
We'll see. Night game next week, fellas.
We're gonna wrap this thing up. Eagles win 38-35. Good win.
Anything happened about Steph Curry in the news today, or no? Are we good with that?
Let's go. Wrap it up.
Okay. All right. So Sixers, by the way, Sixers start training camp at the end of the month.
Go and stay with it again this year. I'm sorry to tell you.
Hey, before we get off though, I want to give a plug.
Oh yeah, we can shout out some plugs.
Yeah, I'm gonna plug. My wife started a foundation, and unfortunately, we have a lot of people that suffer from cancer and things like that. My wife started a foundation which helps women who have had hair loss due to cancer or even alopecia. And the foundation is to try to help these women to get lace front wigs, like real wigs, not the ones that you get from the store, a couple dollars or whatever, but real lace front wigs, the high quality wigs for free through her organization. So through that foundation. So that's what she's starting, and that's what she's doing. It's a Harris Prescribed, and her name is Aisha Brooks, or Miss Naturally Classy. If you have a woman in your life, someone that you know that's suffering from these things, maybe cancer, and she's going through treatment and losing her hair, or alopecia, she can try to help them get a free wig, either through there or even through their medical insurance. That's what her business is. So you can contact me, or like I said, you can look her up.
We're gonna put the information up.
Yeah, I will put the information up. So that's just something that that's something I think that is decent, because that's everybody can't afford that on that level. But and she even has like a fundraiser coming up in October and something to help support all that. So just putting that plug out there.
Yes, sir. Nice shout out. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So don't forget, Eagles won. And Eagles actually won. Anyway, thanks for like the video, comment, subscribe, and we out.
Deuces.
Peace.